Natalie Mordovtseva didn't come to America expecting to lose everything. If anything, she thought her life was finally beginning. She believed she was getting the love, the marriage, and the stability she had been waiting for. But the story that followed was nothing like the fairy tale she imagined. Instead, it became a long, painful fall filled with broken relationships, unstable choices, money problems, immigration fears, and the kind of public backlash that can break a person from the inside out. This is how Natalie went from chasing the American dream to almost losing it all. When Natalie first appeared on the show, she stood out immediately. She was emotional, intense, dramatic, and extremely direct. Viewers loved watching her, even when they didn't agree with her. But behind the entertainment, Natalie carried deep insecurity. She wanted a husband who would protect her, support her, and give her the life she felt she deserved. And for a while, she believed Mike Youngquist was that man. But their relationship quickly showed cracks. Their personalities were too different, their arguments were too heavy, and their trust issues were impossible to ignore. The real turning point came when Natalie moved to Washington and realized that life with Mike wasn't what she expected. Instead of glamour, she found small-town living. Instead of romance, she found arguments. And instead of security, she found doubts. Their marriage fell apart, and when Natalie left, she left without a plan, without a home, and without a path to legal stability in the US. Most viewers didn't realize that walking out on Mike meant something huge. Her entire immigration status was suddenly at risk. Without a stable marriage, her future in America became shaky. She couldn't work freely, she couldn't build a life, and she couldn't return home easily because she had spent everything trying to make this relationship work. This was the first major thing she lost, security. Then came the second thing she lost, her reputation. After leaving Mike, Natalie was painted as someone who used him for a visa, even though she denied it. She moved to Florida, lived with another man, and tried to start fresh. But the timing looked suspicious to viewers. People called her manipulative. They said she jumped from relationship to relationship for financial support. And once that opinion formed, it was hard for her to shake. Every decision she made after that was judged through that same lens. Her relationship with Josh only made things worse. Natalie wanted commitment, marriage, and stability. Josh wanted something much more casual. On camera, she cried, begged for reassurance, and pushed for answers he didn't want to give. That made viewers feel like she was chasing men not for love, but for support. Every episode made her look more desperate, more frantic, and more unstable. And the more emotional she became, the more distant Josh grew. Their relationship finally collapsed, leaving her alone once again, another breakup, another hit to her image. At this point, Natalie wasn't just losing relationships, she was losing financial stability too. She depended on her partners and reality TV income, but that isn't a reliable long-term plan. She was accused of doing questionable things to make money, including a charity controversy where she promised to donate part of her earnings from video calls. Viewers didn't believe her, and the situation damaged her name even further. When an audience begins to distrust you, everything you do becomes suspicious, and that's exactly what happened to Natalie. Her social media also contributed to her downfall. Natalie posted strange, emotional videos that made people worry. She showed herself crying, traveling suddenly, holding large amounts of cash in a suitcase, leaving homes with no explanation. Instead of calming people, she created more confusion. Fans didn't know if she was struggling, showing off, or asking for attention. And on the internet, confusion almost always turns into criticism. The next thing Natalie lost was control of her own story. Once public opinion turned against her, she couldn't win it back. When she said she was too kind for drama, people laughed. When she said she was misunderstood, people dismissed it. When she tried to start over, people assumed she was running from something. No matter what she did, the world saw her as emotionally unstable, desperate, and lost. And that image followed her into every new episode. There were also hints that she struggled behind the scenes, with loneliness, mental health, and the pressure of trying to survive alone in a country where she didn't have family. She spoke often about wanting a baby before her biological clock ran out. That pressure, combined with unstable relationships, pushed her into choices that weren't good for her long-term well-being. And then came the breaking point. With no partner, no marriage, no stable home, and no guarantee she could remain in the US, Natalie began making plans to leave America altogether. For someone who left her home country hoping to build a better future, leaving the US wasn't just another change. It felt like losing the dream she fought so hard to keep. But in a strange way, losing everything may have given Natalie something she never had before: clarity. Natalie's story is dramatic, messy, emotional, and chaotic. But it's also painfully human. She didn't lose everything because of one mistake. She lost it through years of trying to fill the emptiness inside her with things that were never going to fix it: unstable relationships, temporary comfort, and the hope that someone else could build her future for her. In the end, Natalie didn't just lose her marriage, her stability, and her reputation. She lost the dream she carried with her to America, but sometimes losing everything is what pushes someone to start over, not for a man, not for a visa, not for a TV show, but for herself.